Alright students, what's up? We are going to learn a little bit more about how to manipulate the weight of a yo-yo. So, in order to do that, we need to first see how we can find the mass moment of inertia. I showed you that in the previous video. Please reference that if you'd like to figure it out. But I would like to show you how to sketch a face on any surface. Right now, I know that if I click on Sketch and I hover over the specific surface I want to create that sketch on, I will click on it. Once it's selected, now in the function toolbar, I can go ahead and pick a shape that I want to add. Now, I want to focus on adding weight rather than subtracting weight, because if we remember in the moment of inertia equation, if I take weight away from the yo-yo, it will decrease the moment of inertia. But if I add weight, it will only increase. And specifically, I want to add weight, if you remember correctly, I want to add weight to where the moment of inertia will increase. Now I'm gonna let you decide where that is to show that you've done your homework. But right now, to stay neutral, I'm going to put it right in the middle, right about there. Actually, I don't like that. I want to make it vertical from the center point. So I'm going to hover over the center point and I'm going to drag straight up. Oh no, it's not giving me a reference line to work off of. Okay, I'm going to try to change that. The reason it might have done that is because I made these work origin planes invisible, so I'm going to reselect the visibility. There we go, and I am going to highlight the axle sketch. Oh, and the origin. I need the origin reference point, so maybe that's why. Okay, now that that is selected, can I drag up to be vertical from that? It's still not doing it. That's okay. I know how to constrain it to be vertical. So once I have that circle, I'm going to select it. That looks like an amazing size, 0.251. I'm going to dimension it by pressing D on my keypad or selecting up here. I'm going to click on the circle, drag out, and I'll round it up to the hundredths place, 0.25 or quarter of an inch diameter. Amazing, but it looks like I have two dimensions on it. It's very interesting. So I'm going to delete one of the dimensions, and then I'm going to locate this point with a constraint, a vertical constraint. I'm going to click on the center point of that circle and then go ahead and click on this origin point. So it's going to be exactly in line. Yep, it moved over just a little bit. Okay, now that we have that constraint done, I'm going to dimension our sketch again by clicking on the center point of that circle. You always want to dimension from the center point of a circle. And then I'm going to drag outside of the sketch after I zoom out. I'm going to drag outside of the sketch over here. And I'm going to click Escape on my keyboard. And then double click on that. What shall we do? We should do, why don't we do 0.5? Get a little bit closer to the middle. And if you are having internet issues, I can empathize with you right now because I am as well. And I can say it's not very fun. It's an unfortunate reality of relying on the speed of the internet. But that's okay. We will make it work and we will be patient. It's just lagging pretty heavily. Haha, reduced rendering performance detected. Okay, maybe that's because my GPU throttling. So I'm going to put more power to my laptop so that I can hopefully get better performance. Exit out of this. Okay, so now that I have the location of that circle, I'm going to first rename the sketch to weight distribution sketch, and I don't need a period there. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to click on the extrude function in the function toolbar. Once I select that, I'm going to click on the circle, or the whatever shape you decide. You can use a triangle, you can even use a big circle that is concentric with the middle of the yo-yo circle, and you can find a way to either add material or remove material using the extrude function, or later I will show you how to do it with the shell function, as Miss Doyle so wonderfully showed us the other day in class. Man, I am struggling. There it is. It's kind of finicky when it wants to select. Okay, so now that I have the extrude function, I can either add weight or subtract weight depending on which way I drag this arrow. So if I want to take weight away, which remember we kind of want to stay away from, but you still can make it work if you remove weight in a specific location. So that's how far I'm dragging it in. Awesome. Okay, now that I have that, I want to select remove material. That's how I draw a hole. And that should be a-okay, but I really want to add weight. So instead, I'm going to click on add right in here in the function dialog box, and I will click on this arrow to switch the direction. There's two ways to do that. I could have either dragged this arrow, or I could have clicked on this to switch to the opposite direction. And we're going to say we want it to be 0.15 inches. Okay, we're going to rename this to weight extrusion. Weight extrusion. And next we're going to click on check. I'm going to go back to the front here. If we see that, we put a little weight there. Now it's easiest to adjust that one sketch and that one feature, and then there's a cool feature. It's kind of like the circular pattern, but you can do it for a 3D object. Right here, you can create a circular pattern for a feature. So now once I click on that feature, there it is. It's going to ask the entities to pattern. So I'm going to click over here on the weight extrusion, and I think it will select it. It exited out of the circular pattern. Okay. Okay, now it took me back into another dialog box. I don't want that. I want circular pattern. Alright, OnShape, speed up for me, please. I promise it is a good program. It's just sometimes a little finicky with Wi-Fi. But the benefit is you can use it on a lot of computers that don't have the power or the graphic capabilities to have a CAD program. Okay, so our entities to pattern. We're going to select our shape to pattern. So I'm going to click. I don't want it to be yo-yo front. Well, how do I select it? Let's go to the side view. Oh man, it's going to do the whole thing. Okay, well it's not selecting. A little bit about troubleshooting in OnShape. If one thing doesn't work, go back to the basics, the original of what you know to work. So we know how to create a pattern on a sketch. So in the sketch interface, I'm going to first delete the weight extrusion, and then I'm going to go back to the sketch. There we go. And I'm just going to create a pattern here. So in the function toolbar, I'm going to click on circular pattern, and now I'm going to click on our feature here. Very nice. And it automatically recognizes that that point is what we want to revolve around. So I don't really want 3, I want to add more weight. So let's do 6. Let's do 6 instances of that feature, and it will copy it 6 times, and it will create them equidistant from each other. So that is a very handy tool, and it saves a lot of work. We undid that. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to click on this feature again. It's going to populate once again, and then I'm going to double click on this number and click 6. Okay, enter. Amazing. Now we have what we need right here. Okay, now that we have that, we can click on check, and all I have to do is go to the extrude function on the function toolbar in our 3D design space and click on all the objects, the instances. I don't think we hit the extrude fit. Oh, we did. Now I don't want that to extrude, so I'm going to delete that face that was accidentally selected. And then I'm going to go around in a circle, and I'm going to pick all of these. I don't want that one. There we go. Make sure that's highlighted. There we go. Man, I'm going to go at a front view. Maybe that'll highlight it easier. Amazing. There we go. And there we go. And there we go. Now while I'm designing this, I definitely want to keep in mind, okay, how am I actually going to add weight to wood in real life? It'll be easy to cut out these circles on the bandsaw, but to add this weight, will I have to glue on dowel pieces? Will I add pennies? Will I just cut out blocks of wood? How can I feasibly add weight and make it after that? So once I have that, I don't necessarily want the dowels to be that long or the extrusions to be that long. So maybe let's do something a little more low profile so it doesn't affect the spinning too much. Because I want it to be pretty low profile. Maybe something like that. Okay. That looks okay. Alright. So another way that we can affect the shape, it's a really cool feature. Actually, before I show you that, I'm going to show you a shell function, and a fillet function, and a chamfer function. So, Miss Doyle showed this to me the other day. She should have showed you in class. Where is my shell? There it is. Looks like a 3D printer enclosure. Okay, so I'm going to click on this feature right here, and it should sink in the sketch a little bit. Is it going to? How thick do I want the shell to be? It said it could not shell the part, and it probably can't shell the part because of my extrusions. So I'm going to go back to our extrusion and our weight distribution, and I'm going to delete those. That was pretty quick. And I'm going to click on our shell feature again, bam. And I'm going to click this face, bam, we got it, amazing. There it is. Okay, so it will sink it down. Once I do that, I can click the thickness, perfect. So you can see that it sunk down our material. Now you can do that if you want to remove material close to the axle, but I would also add some material towards the outside so the total weight of the yo-yo remains the same as the original yo-yo that we designed. So it has a higher moment of inertia, okay? And in order to sketch this axle at the right place, actually you won't have to worry about that because we're just figuring out the face of the yo-yo. I will be able to adjust that and change that. So don't worry about that. Okay, so that is the shell feature. Now I want to show you how to smooth some of the edges. Now, fillet and chamfer are very, very good for creating a finished product or something that is ergonomic and takes away the sharp edges. It's often like sandpaper, but I call it digital sandpaper. So in order to fillet, this image explains what it does. It curves over the edge. So we're going to do that for our first edge that we just shelled. Okay. There we go. It smoothed it over. Now we're going to click check. And let's try to, let's use this edge right here and let's chamfer it, which is making it flat, not rounded. So let's see if it'll do it. Okay, you can't see it too well in there. Can we see that? So it's just making this transition very flat, but we'll show you on this axle right here. Okay, so I have my fillet feature, and it should look like the end of a pencil when I'm done, if it does it right. Chamfer. Oh, well, the size is not agreeing with me, so I'm going to go with a smaller chamfer, so 0.15. Let's see if it'll do that. Still not going to do it. Oh, it did it. Let's make it a little bit bigger. 0.03. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're going to click check and see how it, there we go. That's a little bit better. So that is what the chamfer sketch does, and you can do that on a straight edge as well. Okay, now that we have that, I want to show you one more way that we can design, or we can change the profile to then rotate around. So I'm going to delete our chamfers. I'm going to delete our fillets. Some people call it fillet, but it's pronounced fillet. Make sure you call it fillet. You might get some grief in the engineering community if you call it fillet. Professors do all the time. Okay, so we're going to delete our shell as well. So now we're back to square one. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can just change the profile of Yoyo, and this is arguably the easiest way to add weight. So I'm going to go back to our Yoyo sketch, remember the one that we revolved around? We're going to go change the root, the original sketch. There we go. Let's get to our home view. There we go. Okay. So, remember this is the part that we created symmetric, so I'm going to delete that part. And I'm going to adjust our profile sketch. Come on, buddy, delete. Delete. There it is. Okay, so we're just going to change this. So, I'm going to draw lines like this. I might add some extra weight towards the outside. There, and then connect it right here. See what happens. That was not coincident, so I've got to add a constraint there. Coincident, constraint. Bam, and bam. So they're connected. Oh, I can't dimension that. I dimensioned it on accident instead of writing coincident. And coincident just means that these 2 points will match up on top of each other perfectly. Amazing. Now it recognizes it as a complete and full sketch. So next thing I want to do is I want to cut out some of these lines that we aren't going to use, and in order to do that there is a cut function, the scissors up here, or trim. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to trim these lines that I don't want anymore. Bam, bam, just like that. I'm going to mirror this sketch. Oops, that's not the mirror function. Here's the mirror function. I'm going to mirror that sketch by selecting our geometry. No, I did not select everything. There we go. I did it again. And I'm going to select the mirror line. Oh, I didn't want to. Interesting. There it is. Alright, now we have everything. Now I can click select. Now this is really cool. Even though all of these things are messed up because they depend upon that, all I have to do is remember that I deleted one part that the extrusion function, or the revolve function, relied upon, because I selected both of those faces. So if I go and edit the revolve function, the first spot that the error pops up, it's saying, oh, the faces are different. So I'm going to deselect the faces I selected before, and then I'm going to select the new faces that I just created. And it's saying missing edge of Yoyo sketch. So I'm going to choose the new edge. Perfect. Alright, it should do it. And as you can see, that is a very easy way to change the profile, and that's probably your most powerful tool, to be able to add weight to the outside and make it look like an actual yo-yo. But that's all we have for today. Good luck on your design. Yeah, best of luck. Bye-bye.